I want to go back to this topic we've been talking about, the media, and how biased the media is, especially when it comes to the effort to protect children from all of this stuff surrounding the LGBTQ. Now, to be sure, not everybody in that community are, not all of them are activists trying to force this onto society, but a lot are. And the media is afraid of them. This is a piece from the USA Today. All right, I just want to show you, I'm going to walk you through this to show you how biased this is and why programs like Washington Watch are so important to get information, news and information out from a biblical perspective. All right, this is a special report from the USA Today about how the battle over drag shows is tearing at America. So I'm just going to pull a couple of quotes. Lawmakers in 8 states have introduced a total of 14 bills targeting drag shows, according to an analysis by PEN America, kind of a left-leaning organization that's out there. But anyway, so first paragraph, drag shows that allow children in the audience have come under fire from far-right extremists across the country over the last year, sometimes with resulting violence. And an adult drag show in Colorado Springs became the scene of a mass shooting in which the shooter now faces hate crime charges. Now, if you read that all, and that's one paragraph, you read that, it's 2 sentences, you think, wow, I mean, these parents are getting really bad. These far right-wing extremists, they're shooting people. All right, and how many parents want their children to be exposed to this type of vile material? I would think there's probably a lot that do not want their children exposed to this. So are they right-wing extremists because they don't want this? And then look how it conflates what parents are doing to stop their children from being exposed to this adult drag show in Colorado Springs that was the scene of a shooting, which the shooter was sexually confused himself. It had nothing to do with what parents are doing across the country. This is irresponsible journalism. Now, I want to drop down to the next paragraph and show you the contrast. Supporters of all age drag shows say they provide a critical support network for LGBTQ children who can benefit from events that celebrate gender identity and expression. Right-wing extremists, amplified by conservative pundits and politicians, claim all age drag shows are damaging to children's mental health and allege, without evidence, that they are havens for child abusers. All right, so where's the evidence that these shows, these all-age drag shows, provide critical support for LGBTQ children? The reporter made that assertion, but yet challenged the claim that this is affecting children, grooming them in many cases. This is the bias of the media. This is USA Today. I'm not even sure I would trust it in my birdcage. Right? That's the type of journalism we're getting today. Okay. The Tennessee Senate overwhelmingly passed a bill to protect children from harmful and experimental gender surgery yesterday. This is one of those bills. I said they signed it into law yesterday in South Dakota. It's moving across the country. We had one of the first in Arkansas. But observers already anticipate a legal fight from both the ACLU and the transgender industry if the bill is signed into law. Now, in anticipation of this litigation, the Family Action Council of Tennessee has offered an amendment to both the House and Senate leadership that counters the ACLU's version of parental rights, which could potentially be used in federal court to claim the proposed law is unconstitutional. Join me now to explain this and give you action items is David Fowler. He is the president of the Family Action Council of Tennessee. David, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to be with you. And thanks for calling your attention to this, because this is one of those things where you have a right end, a right objective, but the right objectives done the wrong way still wind up being problematic and can come back to bite you. And so the question is, how do we understand parental rights? Because you're always dealing with minors in these situations. And parents have certain rights with respect to their children. The Supreme Court's acknowledged that. We would acknowledge it too. And so the question is, how do you define what the parents' rights are versus what they are not. So I've given the example to remove a young girl's breast because of cancer is a decision a parent should have the freedom to make. To remove it because she thinks by removing the breast you can become a boy, that's not the decision you can make. So in Tennessee, what they've done to justify the action is describe it in terms of protecting children from emotional harm and promoting children's dignity. Well, as a lawyer, I don't know what the legal definition of dignity or emotional harm is, and where is that going to lead? Taking your children to a Family Research Council rally or a March for Life, before they're 7 years of age, if the American Psychiatric Association says that harmful, is that justification for state law to say you can't drag your children to those events? And we've offered language to clear that up, to clean that up, to remove that ambiguity. And so far, our leadership has rebuffed those invitations.
Okay, so they give us the bill name and number so people know what they need to say when they contact.
Sure. The bill is up for tomorrow in the final House committee, House Bill 1. It's sponsored by the Republican leader, William Lambert. His office number is area code 615-741-1980. And they just need to say, please, Leader Lambert, would you offer the amendment that's been provided to you to fix finding M? It's A through, M, N, O, P, finding M. Would you please offer that amendment to finding M, adopt it, and then pass the bill? And in that case, we don't have to worry in the future how this will be interpreted by court.
So it's a good bill. It's a good bill,
Yeah.
But there's a big loophole when it comes to parental rights.
That's right. And what happens when you make findings, legislative findings are the legislature's instructions to the judge on how to interpret the statute. So here's what's going to happen. As we all know, the Supreme Court rested its same-sex marriage decision on the idea that same-sex couples need to have dignity, and the Constitution gives them that right. But that dignity, in the very first sentence of the case, was the dignity is the right to define and express your own identity. So if we're not careful, the ACLU will wrap this assertion that the state has a duty to protect dignity and say, we agree with you, and dignity is self-identification and expression, and parents have a right to protect their children's constitutional rights, and so your law is unconstitutional because you're actually undermining dignity as it's defined by the Supreme Court.
Words matter. And
words matter.
Having these words in here undermine the whole law.
The whole thing.
And undermine parental rights as well. All right, David, one more time. Give folks the HB1, who to contact. And this has to happen like right now because the bill is up in committee tomorrow. So give us that information again.
Right. Yes, it's leader William Lambert, Christian guy, lawyer. His phone number at area code 615-741-1980. And just say, would you please offer and encourage the committee to adopt the amendment that would fix finding M.
Okay.
That's finding as in I found something, the letter M.
Not like Finding Nemo, but Finding M. All right, right after, right before Nemo. All right, okay.
That's right.
David, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate all the great work you do there in Texas, in Tennessee.
Thank you, brothers. Good to be with you.